Good morning and welcome to the Fantasy Football Playoffs. Also, the Going for Two Live Network. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe, yada, yada. Great. All those things. There's lots to talk about. Fantasy Football Playoffs. Great time of year. So we're not going to waste any more time and get right to the intro. Yes, it's that time of year, holiday season, but fantasy football does not take a holiday. We turn up the volume. This is the most important time of year. Do or die fantasy football playoff matchups.
Absolutely.
Going to be talking start set questions, any fantasy football questions you have. So thanks for joining us here on the Going for Two Live Network. You can join us over on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook if you want to join the comments and ask your questions. And just like this random Jamie dude saying, "Sup, dudes." Funny enough, we also have a Jamie dude here, Jamie Perog. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing all right. Getting over being sick all week, but I'm doing all right now.
Fantasy football, the best medicine, right?
Yep.
That's
exactly what I was thinking too.
There was a spreadsheet somewhere that has that as like scientific data to show that fantasy football is the best cure of anything. Some spreadsheet nerd probably somewhere. Yes, some spreadsheet nerd is going to introduce everyone. The actual experts on the show that people should listen to and not me. But the other one is Jamie. The other one is Topher Kurt. How are you doing, Topher?
Oh, I'm doing well. Just having a relaxing weekend. Excited for the fantasy football playoffs.
Now, Zach brings up a good point. Made the playoffs by 3 points because Addison was like, he scored 38 for him. So that's, and I'm pretty sure we all said start Addison for sure. I think. I'll start with the good. I'm pretty sure every question we had last Sunday, I said start Addison. He's the guy you.
Yeah.
Okay, that was weird.
That was.
And the stream didn't like me saying start Addison all the time, and it feels like that's. I think that the video was telling me, okay, you can't be talking positive because I'm pretty sure every time I disagreed with Topher and Jamie, it was the wrong call. So that's why if I disagree with them, you probably shouldn't listen. Maybe we know that's not. And I mean, we'll start talking right now. Zach asking his first question of the day. So PPR pick 2, Jameson Williams, Allen.
Braylon
Allen. Well, that's the Allen could be multiple. So maybe just
Keenan. I'm guessing Keenan.
My first thought was Keenan just because he put a bunch of receivers. But I mean, if it is Braylon Allen, let us know, Zach. Jameson Williams, Allen, Josh Downs, or Hopkins.
Josh Downs, is he playing today?
Well, he's expected to play, but until he does, we still have to view him as questionable. And that's the complication is that, I mean, other than Jameson Williams, I'm pretty sure everyone else plays at the 1 o'clock. Yeah, Keenan Allen. I do think the Bears are playing this morning. I know for sure the Chiefs are. That's like the prime early game. When do the Bears play?
The Bears play Monday night.
Oh, yeah. We have that Monday night tomorrow. I'll be hosting the Monday night game tomorrow. So I suppose Allen's always, like, if Josh Down doesn't play, you can just throw Keenan Allen in. So I guess there's less risk on Josh Downs not playing because you've got the players to replace him.
Yeah, I think you go Jameson. I think that Detroit Buffalo game is going to be an absolute shootout. It's going to be it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be similar to what we saw last week with the Rams and Buffalo. Just everybody going to town, just having fun. Last week I was really high on the Bears receivers because it seemed like something clicked. And they played the 49ers, and the 49ers made them look like a high school team. And I would say that I'd go Hopkins. Hopkins in the playoffs, you're going to want to go a little bit safer because I feel like against the Vikings that Allen could put up a 0. Could definitely do that. Josh Downs, obviously he's a great player, but even when he's playing, he is very, very hit or miss. Well, actually, I lied. He's getting some good yardage, good target share. So I lied. But Josh Downs, I would start him. He'd be my number 2. And Does Casey play it, man?
They play it, the early.
Yeah. Okay. So, so then that makes it harder.
Because you couldn't be able, if you want to play Downs and he's out, you wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
use Hopkins as a replacement. You're concerned with Keenan Allen as that guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Downs as number 2. So I would go Williams, Downs, and then if Down doesn't go, play Allen.
Yeah. Kind of leaning that way too. I think your thought of Jameson being the first guy to start because of the game. I think earlier in the week it was a 53.5 over under. I think it's actually gone up. People are definitely expecting this to be a ton of points scored, and you want a player in that matchup. I think. So I agree.
Yes.
Got to play Williams.
No, I have ranked the same way he has it. Jameson Williams. They're all pretty close. He's at 30 for me. Allen's a few spots lower because he could easily put up those 20-point games. He gets 8, 10 targets. Downs, I just can't trust his quarterback, but I do like the matchup.
Especially because Downs would be playing in the slot and not.
Yeah, the Downs. That's where you
can.
Yeah, you can exploit the slot, but I'm definitely not going to go Hopkins. So I like that idea. Either deciding between Allen and Downs. I personally would go Allen.
Okay, so we're saying I think I tend to agree to leave Hopkins on the bench. How's the weather in Cleveland? Because I heard it was supposed to be.
It's rainy. Could snow, but the winds are like 15 to 20 with gusts up to I believe 25.
Don't love that environment for Hopkins. Yeah.
No, not at all. Not a fan.
So I think Williams and Downs is I think the play, and then you have Keenan Allen as that safety blanket in case.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, I like how we got through that. Thank you, Jamie. Yep. CRR got a sit 3 and half PPR. PPR. Sorry. Neighbors, Flowers, Pacheco, Braylon Allen. Thank you for that. Tyrone Tracy Jr. Also got Jonathan Taylor in versus Denver.
Okay, so you're starting Taylor.
I like keeping Taylor in. I think.
Yeah. So he's starting 2 out of Neighbors, Flowers, Pacheco, Allen, Tracy.
Yeah, I'm saying right off the bat, I'm sitting Tracy because Baltimore is just so fierce against the run. Also, I'm sitting Braylon Allen because Breece Hall just was announced that he's going to be in, so I'm sitting him. So it really comes down to Neighbors, Flowers, and Pacheco. Neighbors is having Tommy DeVito throwing the ball.
It is against Baltimore, though.
Yeah. So, correct, but it also is Tommy DeVito. And then Zay Flowers against New York, the Giants, or Pacheco versus the Browns. I think Pacheco scores this week. I'm putting Pacheco in, and I'm putting Flowers in.
I'm really hoping you're right about Pacheco. Definitely have him going in an important, all playoff matchups.
Yeah.
This is a salary cap contract league, so it's double important.
But I think you go Pacheco and Flowers here. I think they're your 2 biggest upsides and your 2 safest plays simultaneously.
Jamie, what are you leaning towards?
Yeah, it's tough. I think I'm going to go Pacheco for sure, just because of the game weather. They're probably going to run more. And I'm going to go Neighbors.
I think between Neighbors and Flowers, the thought of, okay, Ravens defense sucks, like you said, Jamie, but Tommy DeVito, that almost neutralizes it a little. Then I just look to the fact that, at least when I checked Monday or Tuesday, the projected total for the Giants was 14.5, whereas the Ravens were 29. So you're telling me like the Ravens are expected to double up the Giants in points? That's just like a median average too, not even like a high-end average. When I see that type of point total, I have a hard time saying Neighbors should be an over. I kind of, if anything, like playing both, but I mean, almost every week I'm above consensus on Flowers. I tend to stay Flowers is a must start every week, kind of no matter what.
Yeah.
To me, this is just a game environment where they're going to score. I mean, so many points. You have to think Flowers are going to get something somewhere. I know.
I love me some Zay Flowers. I love him.
I like the way you eliminated it all, Topher, to say that, really focused on the two receivers and Pacheco. It's funny that in half PPR, my first thought was to bench all the running backs and just go with Flowers and Neighbors, go with that game stack, and hope that the Giants will score enough to keep up and that you want both receivers.
Yes.
But I could also see if you think that game environment is just bad and only want to play one from that, I also get the Flowers Pacheco, Topher said. So I think we all three of us gave different answers. Topher said Flowers, Pacheco. Jamie said Neighbors, Pacheco. I think I would just go with the two wide receivers and say Neighbors and Flowers. So definitely CR don't play Braylon Allen or Tyrone Tracy. I think we definitely at least minimized your decision to now you have to start only one, like bench one of those three guys between Neighbors, Flowers, and Pacheco.
Well, Flowers and Neighbors are pretty close for me. I only got them like separated by 3 spots, and it's close, like a half a point.
3 spots for me too.
So
but I think opposite direction. You have Neighbors higher, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry we couldn't help further CRR, but at least we helped you narrow it down. I think.
Yeah. We definitely helped with that. So
I think the problem was none of us all said like this. One player was the must start. It sounded like
exactly.
I'm thinking it's Flowers, where you both seem to think it's Pacheco. I guess the fact that both of you saying it's Pacheco, that based on last week, he should play Pacheco for that reason. So Jake, this is almost. I was almost gonna say he's in dire straits here because he's John Knopfler's nephew, but Jake Knipfler.
Yeah, he was on the show last year a few times with me.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jake. Thanks for joining Jamie. Before I could.
So I already kind of gave him my answer. I'm definitely not starting Addison over these two. It's between Pollard and Moore for me. I got them so close by like less than a point apart, but I don't think I can sit Pollard.
I mean, you've been pretty consistently on Pollard every time.
Yeah,
I'd push back on I'm easily Jordan Addison over DJ Moore. I don't know,
really?
they're like 20 spots difference in my rankings. So I don't know why you think you'd go DJ Moore over Addison.
I mean, he's the main target
on against the Vikings defense, though. Like I'm pretty concerned.
Vikings aren't that great.
Well, you know who's worse though? The Bears. We just saw last week they were outgained by 300 yards in the first half. I was gonna make a joke earlier, Topher. You don't even usually see high school as bad as there's huge disparity sometimes in high school and college. I don't think you've ever seen high school games where the gain difference is over 300 yards just in the first half. Like that's wild how bad the Bears were.
Yeah.
It's a complete disaster of an offense. Like I have all 3 of the receivers outside the top 30 because I just don't feel like you can trust any of them. Maybe it's high passing goal line grade. Addison, last time he played the Bears was the wide receiver 1 on the week. That was one of his spike games. So against this opponent, I'm totally I've got Addison as wide receiver 15 this week. So I think to me, I would definitely play him over Moore, and I'd probably play him over Pollard as well. Pollard was dealing with a bit of an injury, but he's still getting tons of carries. So I totally get it. If you want the volume running back. Also, I guess, Jake, is this half PPR or full PPR? I don't know if you know that, Jamie.
I'm not sure. I'm assuming full.
You know what? And I'm thinking half PPR. I still really like Addison in that format because of the touchdown upside. So I actually would go Jordan Addison as the one pick.
So Jordan Addison has scored in his last 4 out of 6 games. Tony Pollard has only scored in 4 total games this year. Same thing with DJ Moore. So Addison definitely has that touchdown upside. And I think also Jordan Addison, he got hurt in week 1 and then came back week 4. He had a touchdown against Green Bay, but besides that, the next few weeks were stumbling around. I think he's actually healthy now. I think he's fully healthy. In my main dynasty league, I traded him away the week before he started going off. It was really a wonderful feeling for me. I didn't cry in my closet about it at all.
Jake would say half PPR.
So I'm going Addison here. I'm going Addison. It feels icky to say, but I think Addison is the right choice here.
So 2 for Addison, 1 for Pollard.
But I think like none of us said play DJ Moore. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm too afraid of that offense being so bad that it's not worth it. Now, like, because the thing is, like, all their running backs are questionable too. So in theory, that's great because they just have to pass a ton. But if teams know that and the Vikings know that, they're going to play very pass-centric defenses, and I think the passing efficiency is just going to be awful because if they ever run at any point, let them. We're not really concerned about Darrington Evans running the football. We'll play with 5-man boxes the whole time and still won't gain 4 yards per carry because it's Darrington Evans.
Yeah.
All you need to do is breathe near him and he'll fall down. He's like one of the worst contact balance running backs I've ever seen in my life. Like if he was fast enough to be a receiver, he'd be a receiver, but he's not a good athlete either. So he's one of the most useless football players that's ever existed. So
poor guy.
So the Vikings probably know. Sorry, Darrington Evans. I don't know. I really don't know why the Titans drafted him in like the 3rd round. I thought that was it. He was a borderline like undrafted free agent to me.
Oof.
So we've got Jeff Lambert, our big boss here, going for 2 live. Can't leave the boss waiting that much longer. Thanks, Jeff, for joining us. So 1 QB, PP. All right. Flex. It's funny. I'm actually going to put this one up because like Jeff asked the question better. So even though it's the wrong account, I mean, I saw this come up and I knew it was Jeff anyway. So it's good, Jeff. But we love sharing the logo. They're going for 2 logo.
Yes.
Here we go. Zay Flowers again. Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, Ramondre Stevenson, full PPR.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm the guy that stamps Zay Flowers as a must start every week. I'm not changing here. I'm saying Zay again.
Well, it's definitely not Stevenson.
I mean, aren't they playing? Who are they playing?
Arizona.
The Cardinals. Oh, okay.
It's not a great run defense, but it's not atrocious either.
Yeah,
so.
They're right in the middle. Yeah. I was thinking for some reason they played Carolina or Indianapolis, and I was like, those are the 2 worst run defenses. We got to okay.
Yep. No, not that great of a matchup for Steve.
Nope, never mind. I'm going Zay Flowers here too. I think Waddle has potential, but I don't think that I still don't trust where those targets are going because like Jonnu Smith had a down week last week, but is he gonna come back or did he just have
not in overtime?
Yeah, he came back in overtime, but literally saved some people's fantasy playoffs hopes by.
Well, yeah, because it would have been 0 points if they didn't go to overtime. So
exactly,
everyone with Jonnu Smith is very thankful that game went to overtime.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go against you guys. I'm also going against the consensus. I'm going to go Waddle because I think Stingley, he's going to be more on Hill, so that might leave Waddle downfield open.
I do wonder if that will depend on how much they want to move Hill into the slot. Like they might, because the one thing that the Dolphins do really well is they don't let you know in advance of a game. Oh, this guy's going to play here. This guy, they move their guys around a lot.
Yeah,
so I'm sure there's going to be lots of snaps where Stingley actually is covering Waddle, or maybe even covering neither because they're moving them around so much.
Correct.
I think the argument
Hill doesn't play the slot that much, like maybe 30, 35% at most. Yeah. Let me check.
Okay. So Jeff did comment with this. I need the upside.
Started Purdy and Kittle. There's so much we're seeing that. Oh, my opponent, like Zach said that too. My opponent started Purdy. I think the one thing I would say is the argument for Waddle is the game itself. That game total higher. I'm used to using the underdog language. The over/under on that game is 47.5. Ravens Giants is down at 43.5. But the Baltimore Ravens themselves are projected to score more points than the Dolphins. Yeah. But then is the over/under higher because it's in Houston, it's in a dome, whereas the other game's outdoors in New York. So I think the game environment in theory does make sense to go with Jamie's pick of Waddle.
Mm-hmm. If I'm needing the upside, I think Waddle's going to has a better chance of delivering you a higher upside. He's the more volatile of the 2, in my opinion. I think Flowers can get there, but I think they're going to rely on that running game so much, especially because Henry hasn't ran into the end zone for like 2 weeks now. And Zay Flowers, they're not going to try and use him, I think.
The one thing with Flowers is he has 3 straight games outside the top 30.
Yes.
So
and my
that's
thinking
not
is
great.
Giants also have a really good pass rush, so that could flush
Yeah.
Lamar out of the pocket and have
They
him
do?
run more. And
Is Dexter Lawrence hurt? I don't know about that. I think when Dexter Lawrence is in, they do, but I think isn't he hurt?
That's true.
is
Yeah,
he,
he is.
okay, never mind then.
Yep.
It's funny because when Jeff said the upside argument, my first thought was, oh, definitely Flowers then. I think Waddle's actually the safer option because that game environment is going to ensure it's going to be more of a shootout.
Oh.
If the Ravens put up 50 on the Giants, you got to think Flowers is going to get at least 1 touchdown. I think that's where the upside comes from, is that the Ravens could just score so many points that it's massive totals for everyone on the team. And that's where I think the actual upside comes from.
Yeah.
I think the fact you need upside, I think you definitely want a receiver in PPR. So I think we can all agree to leave Stevenson on the bench.
Yes. Good luck, Jeff.
I mean, I think they're close enough, though, that you can just probably flip a coin. But I'm still going Waddle.
Topher, have you committed to one side or the other?
I think I'm going Waddle for the upside. I think Flowers could break out if the Ravens choose to throttle the Giants. I don't think they choose to, though. I think that they see that they're going to beat the Giants and they want to keep their players healthier and they're going to put in backups early. I think that's what's going to happen. They're not going to trounce teams like the Lions have earlier this season. I think they're going to take it easy, especially they just had a bye week. Let's keep these guys healthy. We don't want to come off a bye week and lose, Derrick Henry,
because they're about to go into a stretch of, I think they're one of the teams with the 3 games in 10 days type schedule where they're playing Sunday, they play next Saturday, and then they play Christmas Day.
Yeah, and they play their next 3 games are Pittsburgh, at Houston, and Cleveland. So 2 of them are playoff contenders.
And you got to play them like 4 days apart. You play Pittsburgh Saturday, then you play Houston on the Wednesday. A few days later. So like that's to be fair, this does set up for a game where they can bench their guys in the third quarter. They will, but if they're benching their guys in the third quarter, that means they've scored enough points, right? Like they're not going to bench the guys if it's a close game because they know this is not a game they can afford to drop. So if it's anything close,
correct.
Those guys will play till the fourth quarter. I guess my argument with that is always if they're benching starters early in the fourth quarter, they've probably scored close to 50. And so, like,
that's fair.
With that many points scored, you got to think even through 3 quarters, that's where the upside belongs. So that's just my one argument there. And that's where I think that the real upside lies is if you think the Ravens are going to score over 40 points. If you don't think they're going to do that, then I could see why you just want to attack that Dolphins-Texans game environment in the dome, potential shootout.
I don't think that they'll score. I think they definitely have the potential, but I don't think they'll run up the score as much as we want them to.
Okay, we're gonna post this one. I want to ask Lee something. Brees is active. Start him, but start him over who? I think in theory, yes. It's the Jaguars. They're such a bad defense that if Brees is active, you want to play him if you can. In one league, I was so conflicted by it that I traded him away for Devontae Smith in a second. So now I don't have to worry about it at all. I'm also eliminated, so like it doesn't even matter. But it was just someone sent me the offer and we countered back and forth. Originally it was Devontae in a third and I wanted that 26 second. So eventually we found a way to make that one work. So that's my whole solution is just trade away Brees so you don't have to worry about it. But we'll get back to you, Lee. But if you can let us know who you would consider, I guess, benching in favor of Brees. My gut says start him, but I mean, if your team is stacked and there's so many good options, he might pose risk because of his injury.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to that. Courtney Harden, a couple questions. We'll hit on one right here. This question is real. Like, this is the real deal here, guys. Start 2 out of 3 of these. Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy, Darnell Mooney. My one thing quickly is the Giants have the lowest projected total of the week. Like that is not a team you want to start 2 players from.
No.
Pick whatever angle you think, and you bench the other Giants player. So I think Mooney is an absolute must start just because I don't want to end up playing 2 Giants players. That's my quick take right off the bat.
I think that's a very fair take. I'm going both of the wide receivers just because of that Ravens run defense. I don't think that it's going to be fair for Tyrone Tracy at all in that game.
And if he struggles, they might put Singletary in, so it's not like he's guaranteed to get all the work with inefficiency.
Correct.
He might be used more as a receiver though, so that might be the one thing that saves him. But you know who will always be used as a receiver is the receiver. So
yes,
the top 5, top 6 overall pick in the NFL draft. I'm pretty sure they're going to use him as a receiver. So I agree with you.
Hopefully.
What do you think,
You never
Jamie?
know with the Giants.
Oh, this is easy. I'll definitely go Mooney Neighbors.
Yeah, go with both receivers. It's a tough game environment for a running back, Courtney. I don't really want to start Tracy there. So we'll go to Roger's question here. Roger Dabalos. Often joining us in the chat, so thank you again, Roger. And another Ramondre question. Oh, look at that. Pollard over Ramondre. Huh. We've done this before, haven't we? What was the right answer 2 weeks ago, Jamie?
I'm not sure. I don't remember that far back.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, that was the one where Topher and I were, like, you were the guy standing on the table saying, no, it's definitely Pollard.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that might have been actually Zach's question, not Roger's. But that was the thing that almost made Zach lose all faith in Topher. You had to mess it up by saying start Geno Smith, Jamie, but you definitely had Pollard over Stevenson a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
I imagine you'd think the same, right?
Yeah, if it was 2 weeks ago, then both guys just dudded. No, wait, hold on. Week 13. If it was if it was 1 week ago, then Stevenson was right. If it was 2 weeks ago, then Pollard was definitely the right choice.
Yeah, and I think that's the one where we were.
Yeah.
I think that's where Jamie had it, and So I guess 2 weeks later. Sorry, Jamie, we interrupted. Yeah, you're going Pollard again. You've already called him for a couple times in this episode. I imagine you'd stick with him. Yeah. I think I've learned my lesson. I'm gonna go with Jamie's direction too.
Yeah, I'm going Pollard as well. I've got Stevenson, and I hate having to trust him in any way, shape, or form.
I feel like
I was gonna say Pollard's top 15 for me. I got Stevenson down RB 30. It's not even close.
Oof.
Not quite that low on Stevenson, but I still have Pollard ahead of him. Pollard is questionable. So do we know that he is for sure playing? Have we gotten that confirmation yet?
Yes, it was in
officially active. Okay.
It was in the same tweet as Breece Hall, officially active.
Okay, so Pollard is for sure active. Bengals defense, I think, is worse than the Cardinals defense. So from that perspective, that game total is higher, the higher over-under for the Titans-Bengals game than it is the Cardinals-Patriots. I mean, they're both above 45, so they're both pretty good for game totals. Titans expected to score more points than the Patriots. I'm looking at the goal line guide, and the Patriots have a slightly better score than the Titans, but they're both below average, so not great touchdown upside either. You're really just looking for the safety of volume, I think. And feels like even though Spears is there, Pollard seems like he's still getting all the work, whereas Stevenson might actually split with Gibson and Jermichael Hasty, the most talented running back in the NFL. I think we're past that, Kyle. We're past that. That was too many years. That was like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 2020, 4 years ago. We'll stop that now. I guess. Okay, so we're all three of us saying Pollard for sure.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, move on to the second question. So Courtney asking one of these tight ends: Cade Otton, Zach Ertz, or Juwan Johnson. I definitely have Johnson ranked the lowest because of the quarterback.
Yep. Same.
Like I said earlier, Kamara is probably the only Saints player you actually want to start this week.
Yeah. I mean, Zach Ertz has had 21 targets over the past 3 weeks and 3 touchdowns. The last 3 games that he's played. I think you go there. Otton has not. Let me double check that I'm not just going recency bias. But yeah, Otton since week 10 has not been the Otton we've come to know and love. He did have a good game. I wouldn't say great game. A good game last week with 70 yards on 3 receptions. But that's not a stat line that you can always trust for to get 70 yards on 3 catches. So, and he's not getting the yardage or the receptions that he was getting. I'm going Ertz.
Mm-hmm.
They are pretty close. Tight end 9, Otten. Tight end 11, Ertz for me.
Oh, I got them switched. I got Ertz at 9, Otten at 14.
I know what's driving it is the goal line grade. 85.5 for the Bucks, passing 83.5 for the Commanders.
You got to remember Noah Brown.
Yep, he's IR. He's on IR. So
I mean, I don't know that those targets are necessarily going to change much, right? Like that, I think, because Zach Ertz has been getting targets before then, right? So whatever his role is probably safe and secure. I don't know that Brown necessarily affects that more. It might, but I would feel like whatever Ertz was going to get, he's going to get.
yeah.
So I just think there's slightly better touchdown upside with Otten, whereas Ertz, the problem is the goal line grade itself is good. It's like almost 10 points above average, but the rushing goal line grade for the Commanders is the second highest overall score of the week, the highest rushing score. So this could be a game where the touchdowns are all on the ground, whether it's Daniels himself running him in or Brian Robinson. I'm really high on Brian Robinson this week. And so I think, especially in the playoffs where we are chasing upside, I like Otten's touchdown upside better than Ertz. So that's why I've got him ranked that way. It does feel like both of you think Ertz is going to just get more targets than Otten.
Well, yeah, you just can't rely on touchdowns. Too volatile. So,
I mean, it's the playoffs, right? Like that, you kind of have to go for upside, though. So that's my whole thing is that touchdowns, while they're volatile, there is some level of predictability to them.
Yes.
Again, they're both good chances to find the end zone, but it seems like it overwhelmingly does go towards the Bucks just because the rushing score for the Commanders could mean that's where all their touchdowns go. Bucky Irving dealing with injury, I could see, even if he does play and I think he's expected to, the Bucks really struggling to run in the red zone, and that's why I'm really high on Baker this week too.
Yeah.
Not as high as Daniels, but I think Daniels mitigates that because he could run in the touchdowns himself.
Correct. I think that's a very good call right there.
I think all three of us have Juwan Johnson as the sit for sure. So you can just, I guess. Sorry, Courtney. But yeah, I think I really do think it's upside versus safety, right? I will admit Ertz probably is a safer option. Otten really does have more of the upside. So what do you feel
I agree with that?
Courtney might actually be the answer to that question.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
And I guess, the CR just asked, didn't know about Brees playing because Brees is playing. Obviously, it takes Braylon Allen out of contention.
Yeah.
Deciding between Flowers and Neighbors. So
it's still Neighbors for me. I don't know. He's going to get what?
So it feels like CR really wants to play Pacheco, which I think both of you should do.
Yeah, I know.
So see, and I think he likes the fact that the Ravens. It's the fact that it's counterintuitive, right? The Giants aren't expected to score more points, so you want that receiver because they'll be in catch-up mode, right?
Yeah, I can see that. I don't trust Danny DeVito or the Giants. I just don't. I love Neighbors, but oof.
Well, how many targets does Neighbors get? 10, 15?
I mean, not every game, but
yeah.
I think I actually counted. He's averaging, I think, 11 targets per game, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, that's legit.
Okay, so Tree Warden Buck. Very good nature name. Been riding the Broncos D. Love that pun, riding the Broncos D.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're a horse.
Hey, this
nature.
is a
nature joke too.
Family show.
Yeah, kids love horses. Right?
I'm sure that's exactly what he was thinking about when he wrote
Stallion of the Cimarron. Right? That was one of the best kids movies ever. Won Academy Awards and stuff. I love that. Great horse movie. I guess Bambi's pretty violent for a kids movie that doesn't involve horses. But yeah, been riding Broncos defense. But should they pick up Jacksonville defense for the playoff run? I mean, Jets this week. Who do they get next week? I guess I have the access to that. I can pull that up and I'll just have to blankly ask. Have you guys do all the work? Jags. Where are the Jags? I have the Broncos ranked higher than the Jaguars this week. So I'm fine playing the Broncos against Anthony Richardson. In fact, that's probably what I would do. Jets, Raiders, Titans. That is a really juicy schedule. I could see if you wanted to play them against the Raiders next week, I would. Who do the Broncos have? because the Broncos defense has been one of the more productive units. Chargers, Bengals. Okay. So I think I wouldn't drop the Broncos for it, but if you could make a second spot, like if you had another spot on your bench to pick up the Jags, play the Broncos this week, and then drop them and then ride the Jags the rest of the season, I'm fine with. I think I'd still lean on the Broncos against the Colts rather than the Jags against the Jets for this week.
Yep, I got Broncos. Well, I don't have them, but I just looked it up. They have them top 5.
I've got them at defense number 6. I actually have the Jets higher because I like their matchup against Mac Jones better than the Jaguars against Aaron Rodgers.
So, let's see. I'm just looking up right here. Here are some defenses that could be better because Jacksonville hasn't done squat this year. Just because they have good matchups doesn't mean that they're going to be good. I would say Rotoballer website says Cincinnati, they play the Titans, the Browns, then the Broncos. The Buccaneers play the Chargers, but then Cowboys and Panthers. There's that. Let's see. So I think that there's better options out there than the Panthers. I'm betting. I'm sorry, than the Jaguars.
Yeah, still a cat. You're close.
Yeah.
Still Southern cat. So yeah, you know what? I've thought about it, and maybe if the Jaguars are still available right now, you could probably leave them there and pick them up on Wednesday. So I think I'm sticking with the Broncos this week, and then next week, because I don't really view the Colts as a bad matchup because yes, there's upside that Richardson could score a lot of points, but he is also prone to sacks and turnovers. So I still like playing the Broncos defense this week. I wouldn't play them because I definitely wouldn't pick them up and pick the Jaguars up and play them over the Broncos because I think you actually get the better defense performance this week with Denver. So if next week you want to pick up the Jaguars to drop Denver, then against the Raiders, against the Titans, I like that a lot better. Now, even if they're eliminated from playoffs, I could see Aaron Rodgers getting angry mode and them actually starting to put up lots of points. I don't love the Jets. Like I said, I'd much rather play the Jets defense. I've actually done that in the league. I've went and picked up the Jets defense to play against Mac Jones and the Jags. No Evan Ingram, that's a safety blanket gone. Maybe more risky throws, maybe more turnovers, interceptions. So yeah, I think that's how I would play it. Tree Warden is leave the Jaguars out there and pick them up Wednesday. If they are, in fact, the best matchup, and against the Raiders, they might be. If you even want to put a waiver claim in on them to do that, that's fine. But I think I wouldn't do it this week. I'd still leave them out there for another week to play the Broncos. All right. Stinky G. Guillotine League. I was going to say the names involved here, this reeks of, man, a really great team or a Guillotine League. Yeah, Guillotine Leagues at this point of the year, those rosters are going to be massive. Man, because normally it's, Guillotine League, man, it's do or die. It's so important. Then I realized, wait, that's every single question we're going to be asking is do or die. Super important. So in that sense, everyone's in a Guillotine League. But yes, so sit one of Devon Achane, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Jahmyr Gibbs, or Chuba Hubbard.
Some good names here. I believe they're all top 12, top 13.
I've got Gibbs, I think, at 14 as the lowest.
I have him at 13. So, yeah, A-Chain's at 2 for me. Henry's at 3. Mixon's at 4. So
I've got Henry and Mixon at 2 and 3. So, yeah, definitely those two you can't ever sit at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's between Hubbard and Gibbs, pretty close. I got Hubbard a little bit higher.
I have him one spot higher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the matchup against the Bills defense. They're especially really great against running backs and rushing inside the 5. They have the lowest % of touchdowns allowed on carries inside their 5-yard line. So I really don't like David Montgomery this week because I don't think this is a week where he scores touchdowns. And you could say the same thing for Gibbs. I'm super high on Goff, and why we talked about Jameson Williams off the top as being basically a must start because of that game environment, back and forth. And in theory, that maybe helps Gibbs, but because they're splitting and everyone else is getting the majority of the carries, to me, he stands out as being the guy to bench because we don't know exactly how much work he's actually going to get.
Yeah, I'm in between Hubbard and Gibbs as well. I do think that since I believe it's gonna be a shootout in the Buffalo-Detroit game, that I would lean Gibbs because I just think that Gibbs, he's gonna, if the Lions are scoring touchdowns, he is normally one of those players scoring a touchdown. Um, I think that he finds the end zone. Obviously, Hubbard is kicking butt, and he's against the Dallas team that is messy. Oof. Now that I think about it, because Hubbard is playing the Cowboys, I'm going Hubbard. Yeah.
I think all of us are saying bench Jahmyr Gibbs. Never thought we'd say that on a live stream, bench Jahmyr Gibbs, but guillotine leagues, right? Like, there's a reason if you make it this far, it's probably because you have a really good stacked team, and your team just keeps getting better every week as people keep dropping. So, yeah, that'd be the type of league format where you would in fact bench Gibbs. You have to do it in any other situation. Okay, so. Yeah, I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. So Damon Carpenter. Start 2 between Malik Neighbors, Terry McLaurin, and Malik Neighbors.
I would probably go Neighbors and McLaurin for sure.
I was going to say, do you play both copies of Neighbors and double up his points? I have McLaurin in spite of the rushing goal line guide leading towards the Commanders. You see, I think McLaurin is a huge beneficiary of Brown being out, because that's been the one guy that's maybe stopping McLaurin getting 10 targets a week. Now that might be done, and he might be a weekly top 12 wide receiver every week the rest of the season just because Brown's.
Yeah, no, I have McLaurin number 9 this week. And it's funny because I had a bold prediction that McLaurin was going to be top 10 this season on one of our Going for 2 cheat sheet shows. And it's actually panning out. So
yeah,
good call by me.
Proud of you.
But he's 8 for me this week, so yeah, definitely have him.
Yeah, I have him 9.
So I guess, Damon, let us know who the third name was actually supposed to be. Tough to think you'll ever bench McLaurin, though. I think he's a must start. And then, yeah, let us know between Neighbors and who the other guy is. Thanks, Damon. Thanks for the question. Yeah.
He meant
saying he's going to close his eyes and pick one of the
London, Neighbors, McLaurin.
Okay. Ooh.
So it's between London and Neighbors.
Yeah, for sure. I think McLaurin you definitely have to play. You agree there, Topher?
I got London top 20. I like the matchup.
Say that again. Sorry, I totally spaced for a second.
So we're back to I guess I'll actually pull the question up. So it's McLaurin. I guess maybe here. This will see it. You see it easily. So between these three, I asked Jamie. I think McLaurin is the must start.
Yeah. 100%.
So then down to
London
Neighbors.
Yeah, I'm going London over Neighbors, even though I love Neighbors with the targets, but I like London this week.
This is how much I think. I need to double check something. I just need to look before.
Which quarterback do we have more faith in, Tommy DeVito or Kirk Cousins? It's close, isn't it? And it really shouldn't be that close. And that's the scary part with Cousins, right? Yeah. The fact that it's even a question is kind of a detriment to how bad Cousins has been lately.
Yeah, I think. Oh my gosh, this is like a. That's how I feel about it. I'm gonna go with London. Not by much. So if you start Neighbors, I won't be mad. But I'm going London by a hair.
And the goal line grades are almost identical.
Oof.
But then when you see the quarterbacks, it's like there really isn't much. They're both below average, and so both teams also have better rushing goal line grades. So there's not much touchdown upside with both. I mean, Cousins has been 2-3 games without a touchdown. So or 4 games without a touchdown pass. So there almost is no touchdown upside with Drake London, but he still draws a lot of targets. Maybe not quite as many targets as Neighbors.
I mean,
I also have London higher. So
yeah, but London has had. I just closed out of it. London over the past 4 weeks has had 13, 7, 16, and 10 targets. So he has been a target monster there. And then Neighbors has had 10, 9, 13, 10. So they're pretty similar in numbers right there.
You know what Neighbors is doing? He's almost recreating Drake London's rookie season. Because because I went looking.
Yeah.
Drake London had a 29% target share as a rookie and finished as like the wide receiver, like 36, 34 something on a 29% target share. That's almost impossible to do because the quarterback play was just that atrocious with Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder. So like targets are great, but the quarterback play is so bad and so inefficient. So I joked, but yes, I do have more faith in Cousins than Tommy DeVito. As much as it's been tough to have faith in Cousins, I think I think all three of us like London over Neighbors.
Yes.
I just want to throw up a Tree Warden here saying they'll drop the number 5 receiver for Jags next week. I think in this instance, I'm okay just dropping your number 5 receiver right now, and that way you ensure you have the Jaguars. I think I was concerned if you were dropping the Broncos to pick up the Jaguars, because I still wanted to play the Broncos this week. I think I'm fine dropping the number 5 receiver and holding 2 defenses the rest of the way if you're mapped out the matchups that way.
Yeah, I'm also, how do I want to put this? It really depends on who your wide receiver 5 is, though. Like, that's something you gotta know is this somebody that, in 2 weeks, would he benefit me if one of my receivers went down? Like, is this somebody that I should hold on to versus a defense? Because a defense on your bench is not going to do much of anything for you. But having a better bench wide receiver is going to be a better bench spot for you, especially in the fantasy playoffs.
I would also say look at that whoever your wide receiver 5 is versus other wide receivers on the waiver. Can I replace this guy with someone else anyway if I need to pick someone up?
Yes.
And I'm not so concerned with wide receiver depth.
That's good.
So
call
I think,
right there.
Context, that is a good point, though, Topher, of the context of who that wide receiver 5 is and who else is available on the waivers at the wide receiver.
Yes.
That's really the answer there to that. If you should do it this week, or because it's not like the Jags are going to be like that strong of an op. I mean, if they have a monster game against the Jets, it might be someone where you have to bid on the waivers if there's fab bidding, or you might not get them in waiver priority order.
Gotcha.
But then you also brought up other defenses that could be available too. So even if you don't get the Jags, it's not like you're completely screwed.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan Fink asking, full PPR, lost K9 this week. Oh no, lost dog. It's Ken Walker. Need upside as I'm down against a good team. Of course you're against a good team. It's the fantasy playoffs. I would say you always need upside in the fantasy playoffs because there's never any bad teams that make it, right? Like you are now against the best teams, and each week gets like thinner and thinner. So I always say you always kind of need upside in the fantasy playoffs. Hence the Otton over Ertz question earlier. Need one flex and one tight end out of this. So Jameson Williams, Devontae Smith as potential flex options, and then the tight ends, Zach Ertz with Terry McLaurin already in the lineup, Dalton Schultz, Pat Freiermuth. I would say for sure you're not flexing any of those tight ends. Definitely want to flex JMO or Devontae Smith.
That's where I'm going back and forth. JMO, Smith, they're close. Man, Smith, it's hard because he's not the main target. He's still getting like a 26% target share.
26% target on like 16 pass attempts per game, though, right? Like that is
problem. But he does have a great matchup, man. What's his name? Dante Jackson. He's horrible, dude. He allows like a 50%.
Because I'm sure the Steelers couldn't have used Deontay Johnson instead. They just had to trade Deontay away to get Dante Jackson. Like they had to make that move.
So let's see. I actually wrote this up in my article. He's allowing 12.9 yards per reception. What's Smith getting, like 5 receptions a game? So I could see about 60, maybe 70 yards. I give you 12 points. So if he gets a touchdown, that'll put him in that top 15 range. It's just the fact, does he get a touchdown this week? I mean, he's been pretty consistent with touchdowns this year, right? Let's see.
I mean, relative
to
he
only had 1 in his last 3 games, but I'm pretty sure when I looked it up, in his past like 6 games, he had like 3.
Yeah, so he
maybe he's due for a touchdown.
No, you're right. He's had 6 since their bye week in week 5. He has 4 touchdowns, and he also missed 2 games due to injury.
Real quick side note that has nothing to do with it. Anytime that Jamie says yards, It sounds like a pirate. Yards. Yards.
I
And
mean,
love
Jamie
it.
might be a pirate, so we don't know for sure that he is.
So, I'm going to go with Smith. It's probably odd man out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've got Jameson a couple spots higher. It's what we talked earlier about Williams, just that game total, right? Like you see 53.5 over under or 55.5, whatever it is. How many points are going to be scored there? I think the touchdown upside definitely goes with JMO in that sense. Again, I talked about how I think that the Lions will really struggle to run touchdowns in against this Bills run defense. So that means, to me, like the touchdowns kind of have to come through the air for Detroit. Sorry, Topher.
That's okay. I was just going to say I go JMO. I'm going JMO as well.
Squeaky wheel narrative. I know they used it on the DFS show, right? Like, is this the game where AJ Brown gets a 50% target share just to shut him up and no one else gets anything? Like that could happen in theory.
Yeah, I mean, I can see you going JMO. I'm just going to go against the consensus, but I would like to say that Jeff Bell from Football Guys agrees with me. He just updated his rankings.
I'm guessing they're pretty close. Like, I think the same for you, right? Like, JMO.
Oh, yeah, I have let's see.
They're both in the wide receiver 3 range for me.
Yeah, like right around the wide receiver 35 area.
I guess I'm a little high. I got JMO at 28, but yeah. I think, the difference between them doesn't seem like it's that major for really a lot of rankers. All right. Damon, one quick thing that will help you. We'll get to your question after we get to the next one, which technically did come before. Is this a PPR league or a half PPR league? I think especially with running backs to wide receiver, I think that will definitely help there. So we'll get back to you, Damon. Just let us know the scoring format. Gavin San. Widis? I'm guessing that's like a what does this mean? I don't even know. Anyway,
who to start? Who to something start?
Who do I start?
Who do I? Yeah.
There you go, Jamie.
Who dis? That's what I'm getting. Who dis? New phone.
Well,
who dis?
Hi, Gavin. This is Topher, Jamie, and Kyle. We like to answer questions. Thanks for asking us a question. So, Kyle Pitts versus Las Vegas or Sam Laporta versus Buffalo?
Oh, Sam Laporta.
Easy, Sam
Yeah.
Laporta.
I mean, I don't have Laporta that high in my rankings. Where is he at?
Doesn't matter how high, he's going to be higher than Pitts.
I was going to say, I certainly have Pitts that low.
I've got Pitts at tight end 20 this week.
Oof.
20, you're higher. I got him at 30.
So there you go. And I was just thinking that too. Like, I could even go lower with him.
I do have Pitts and Laporta in a dynasty league, and I am 100% starting Laporta over Pitts for sure.
Oh yeah.
Game total, right? We look like 50. Like the Lions might score more points on their own than the Raiders and Falcons will combine. Like that is definitely a possibility. That's like realistic, like very, like almost likely to happen. So just the sheer number of points, you got to think that Laporta is going to outscore Pitts. What has Pitts done lately to think that he has any upside at all?
And then he has Rashad White.
And Cousins doesn't throw touchdowns. If Cousins doesn't throw a touchdown, Pitts will not score a touchdown. Mm-hmm. And then pick one out of Rashad White versus the Chargers, Breece Hall versus the Jags, or Tyrone Tracy versus Baltimore. I think we instantly disqualify Tracy, right?
Yeah,
I'm going Breece Hall because Bucky Irving is supposed to suit up today.
And that's the complicated thing. Because if Bucky Irving wasn't there, I think I would go with the healthy Rashad White getting most of the carries.
I would agree.
How much work does Breece Hall actually get, though? And how much work does Bucky even get? Because he hasn't practiced the last 2 weeks at all.
That's true. I still think that they're going to want to play him a little bit just because play Bucky pretty consistently because they're still in that playoff push. They're not safe. They're not in the playoffs yet.
No.
They're going to want to put their best foot forward.
And I think that's why they keep doing this. But if they had just not played Bucky last week, would he be perfectly fine this week? Like, it seems like all they need to do is just not play him for a week, and then the future games after that, they'll be better served for it. Is this hurting them by keep trotting him out there? But if they think he's capable and they can manage it, then sure. But how much work is that really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I might still go Rashad White. again, the complicated thing is we don't know if Bucky's going to play yet when you're making this decision. You have because Hall is playing at 1:00. Certainly has the better matchup. Much rather play a running back against the Jags defense than against the Chargers defense. That much is certain. Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning White. Sorry, Trevor?
Yeah, I'm going Hall.
Jamie?
Yeah, Hall.
Okay. My faith in Rachaad White will eventually be rewarded. I remember those two were same draft class, and I thought White was a clear top 3 back in that class. His relative athletic score was almost as good as Breece Hall's. Really hasn't shown that anywhere that explosive efficiency in the NFL though. But yeah, I still believe in Rachaad White.
Yeah, well,
Damon's saying it's a full PPR. So again, and we talked about this earlier. We had another decision of Pacheco versus Neighbors versus Flowers. So very similar to this. Yep. It's Pacheco versus Neighbors versus London in this case. We all said go London anyway.
I would keep Pacheco
Neighbors
in.
over Pacheco.
I'm keeping Pacheco in.
That's what you said earlier too, right? It was Flowers.
Yes.
Pacheco in that other decision. Jamie, I think you said you also wanted Pacheco over Neighbors the other time too. So I imagine.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm pretty sure I'm the one who said Neighbors over Pacheco. So good luck with that, Damon. Again, based on last week's results, no one should ever listen to me. So, take that for what it's worth, and you probably should listen to Topher and Jamie. Dilemma time after getting 0 from Cup. Is it almost a blessing in disguise because then it'll make managers always chase upside and never think of the safety and fake risk of a floor in a playoff game? Have McBride at tight end, which I'm pretty sure I have him ranked as the tight end 1 this week. So currently have Addison the flex over Kelsey.
Absolutely.
Can play rush at super flex or Kelsey.
Oh
boy.
That's a toughie.
Yeah, half PPR. Panthers defense isn't great. So I think, they're expected to trail the Cowboys are. The Panthers are favored, so that gives a good, in theory, game script for the quarterback to have to throw lots of passing attempts after Chuba Hubbard gets 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, and Cooper Rush has been has had a touchdown in each of his last 4 games, at least. He's thrown 6 touchdowns in the past 4 games. Travis Kelce has had 0. So I think just from even a QB floor against a not great Panthers running back defense. Sorry, my dogs are being ridiculous.
Do they really want Kelce? Is that you're crazy? Cooper Rush? What is this? This is nuts. That's what that strikes me as.
Frank, do you want Kelce? Do you want Cooper Rush?
Neither.
They both suck.
He's like, nope. Next question.
I'm not answering yes to either of those. These guys are awful. Play someone else. Sorry, Mike. No, I'm. Here's the thing. Cooper Rush's first start this year, he got negative fantasy points. Since then, he's had double-digit fantasy points every year. So, exactly. Our first impression of him starting was so horrible. But we can't. That was one game against the Eagles defense. We can't really hold him to that. He's produced well enough that he's a quarterback. I'm going to go with the quarterback in Superflex. The upside is just too much because quarterbacks they can get 30 points a lot more easily than any other position. I think that's especially where you need to be. There's no safety on tight ends, but it doesn't matter with floor because it's the playoffs. You're not worried about floor. At least that's my philosophy. Is you're just always chasing upside in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
Jamie, are we going away from the quarterback?
Yeah, no, I'm playing the quarterback. Pretty easy.
Kelsey hasn't proven to be enough that you have to start him. His production is so crazy.
Yeah.
Does anyone disagree with him playing Addison over Kelsey in the flex?
Not at all.
Nope.
Same here. The touchdown upside to me is with Addison. So in half PPR, that's what you're going for more than catches anyway, and yards and don't really want to flex tight ends. I think anytime someone's asked about flexing a tight end today, we've said no. I guess that is the last question actually, and we are at 12:30. So
perfect timing. Damn.
Yeah, great job, guys. We got through that really well. Hopefully, I didn't mess anyone up like I did last week. So I said play Addison everywhere, and I still.
Hey, We all mess people up from time to time. No worries. Don't
To
give
be honest,
yourself.
I think you and Jamie had everything right last week. Everything that you were asked, because I think all the things I got right, you also agreed with, or I also agreed
That's
with
fair.
you guys. So you had the benefit of having I think almost everything right last week. So great job to both of you. You both had a great week. Jamie called it with Zach Charbonnet as a top 10 running back.
Yeah, they got what, 7 or 8?
And I think he finished as the RB 1 or 2 last week.
Yeah, I think it was 1.
Yeah, so there you go. So good job, Jamie. Way to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That was awful.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that you cannot hog all the credit of being wrong from time to time. Okay. Give us.
Well, it was mostly just last week. It just seemed like it was brutal last week. It's like, okay, no, I'm taking a stand here. Like every single time I disagree with you and Jamie, it was wrong. Watching through the day, like, man, the Braylon Allen thing was just, oh, there's Isaiah Davis touchdown. Oh, there's Isaiah Davis again. Man, Jamie was right. Should have known. Should have followed. Should have known Davis was going to get more work. Really should have. It was such a bad repeat on my part. So yeah, Zach Charbonnet for the win. But now he plays the Packers today, so he's not going to do much.
Yeah. He might get a goal line touchdown, but that's it. I think they'll push him up the
Packers
goal line.
are actually tied with the Bills in the lowest touchdown rate inside the 5. They're at like 23%. So I don't know that he's going to get a goal line touchdown. I think because it would be more likely to come through the air, except the Seahawks actually have the lowest rate of passing touchdowns inside the 5. They're at like 11% touchdown rate inside the 5. So I think inside the 5, the Packers should be able to hold them outside the end zone, hopefully. That's my thing. And I mean, just because they're really good against the run, and the Seahawks are so bad at passing that it really does become strength on strength in both instances and weakness on weakness, because the Packers' pass defense inside the 5 is pretty atrocious. It's like 60% touchdown rate allowed, like 3rd or 4th highest in the league. But they're playing the worst passing touchdown team inside the 5. So who knows? Who knows how that goes?
Crushing it, dude.
But you can check us out every weekend. I mean, this is just week 1 of the fantasy football playoffs. There's definitely 3 more weeks, and week 18, which we will return for. We're going to help all the psychos who play week 18.
Yes, we will.
Don't worry, psychos, you will have help.
Yes.
That's more psycho.
There will also be mental health counseling available
for those who are stuck in leagues with week 18 fantasy football playoffs.
We will also provide exit strategies and ways to approach your league mates without pissing them off.
I mean, you're making me play week 18. I'm already pissed off. We're past pissing off people. This is CTFO. No. I think the strategy is just get the fuck out. Like, go play the league and then play week 18. It'd be the answer. But you know what? We're here for everyone. And
exactly.
I honestly like hanging out with Jamie and Topher.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Plus that week, none of us will probably have Linus, so we can come in stress-free and not have to worry about it afterwards too.
That's true.
So
yeah,
we'll be
I
in
enjoy
a much better
hanging out
mood
with Jamie as well.
Than we are today, like hoping for all our fantasy football playoff matches. We're certainly hoping for one. But yeah, going for 2 live. There's still great content every day of the week here. As mentioned, the Bears and Vikings, Falcons, Raiders. They're tomorrow night's Monday night pregame show. Gladys and I have a super special guest coming for the season finale as well on the Monday night show. So be sure to tune to that tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. A couple shows still on Tuesdays. We got Speak on It. Is the Cheat Sheet Award show this week, Jamie?
We don't know when that's going to happen yet, but it'll come up soon.
There's Cheat Sheet on Tuesdays. At some point, we'll have a fantasy football award show. So stay tuned for that. We got our Christmas special on Wednesday.
Ooh.
So, instead of the armchair show this week, they're going to essentially have an armchair Christmas show might be at 9 actually, or 8:30. I think it's actually I can just click on the video, the going for 2 page, because I'm pretty sure Jeff already put that up. Yeah, 9 p.m. on the 18th, Wednesday night. So come join us for that. All the holiday cheer, the fantasy football playoff cheer, the best time of the year, and with my best co-hosts here, Jamie and Topher. I'm super happy to do it every Sunday morning. And I guess we'll see you next Sunday morning here.
Yes,
Going for 2 Live Network. See you guys.
Y'all.
Take care. Best of fantasy luck.
Still trying to figure out how to turn this off.
No, I figured